All right. Glad y'all found parking. I hope it wasn't too illegal parking because I parked hella illegal. I don't know if it was a parking spot or not, but I'm like, I gotta park here. I gotta go. I gotta hurry up and illegally park so I can go meditate. Think the cops will let me off? I had to hurry up and go meditate. I was going to be late. All right, y'all. Welcome. Thursday night, Santa Cruz Meditation Group. You made it. My name's Joe. And I'm going to keep my jacket on because I'm freezing. Been dealing with this sinus allergy thing. Been crazy. Anybody deal with allergies? Been feeling it? Yeah. It's like the rain and then the heat and everything just pollinates. I live up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and it looks like it's snowing. Yeah, and it's all pollen. It looks so beautiful, but I'm dying. I'm just like, What are you going to do? The body experiences pain. The mind creates suffering. That was my take this week because I was in a lot of pain and I didn't want to feel it. So let's just settle in. We'll do a little arriving meditation. Feeling your feet, feeling the seat, taking a look around. You made it to this moment. You made it to group. Hear the sounds. Rest your eyes somewhere that's comforting, soothing, or close your eyes. And just check into what this moment has to offer right now. Sounds, sensations, thoughts, emotions. Maybe some of the busyness of the day, of life is here right now. Those thoughts, those emotions. And sometimes we come into spiritual practice, mindfulness, whatever it may be, to get rid of. But maybe there's no getting rid of. There's just allowing to be, to settle. And checking into the truth that these thoughts, these emotions are here. But there's so much more that is here as well. So the practice invites us to be curious about our experience right now. This breath and this body, how we experience each moment through our senses. So we can notice this body sitting, the sensations in the body, the contact, and the chair, the floor. The contact of the air on the skin. Maybe this is where you notice the breath coming in, going out. Wherever you notice the breath. Just this effortless awareness. There's no effort needed here to sit, to breathe. these sounds, expanding our awareness, smells, taste. You arrived. No part of you is not welcome here. Even the parts of you that don't want to be here are welcome here. And I have a check-in question that I just want to kind of put into the room. You can think about it for a moment, but I'd love for you to kind of be playful with it. So just reflecting, using your imagination. If there was a book written about your life up to right now, what would the title of the book be? Without getting into the content too much, just the title. Again, checking in with your feet, the seat, the sounds. And gently bringing your awareness back into the room. Who had a title that popped up? Come on. Forever? Was that right on that? Forever? Yeah. Who else? You laughed. You got to say something, Christian. What was the title of your book? Yeah. Is it a comedy? No, it's a tragic comedy. And Stealing from Myself. That's the title. A poem, Only Love Could Save. Wow. Beautiful. Who else?
Mine was my name and then like below that, exaggeration and lies.
Exaggerations and lies?
Exaggerations and lies, because like people write biographies.
Yeah, totally.
Make the story better.
Totally, yeah.
Mine's abandoned ship and the part of me that doesn't want to be.
Yeah. Mine's willing to fail. Yeah. God bless resilience. Yeah. Been a glorious wild ride. Yeah. Practice and maintenance. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, please.
Refined chaos.
Say that one more time.
Refined chaos.
Refined kale? Chaos. Refined chaos. I like that. Kale would be good. Refined kale, yeah. They kind of did do that. It used to be just like decorative. Now you eat it. Here's a follow-up question. What would the last line of the book be? That was mine. What was it? Oops. And I'm here. Love it. Yeah. Well, no, I like this question. So I bring in the question to because I work with youth that are struggling from everything, just fucking being a youth, being a young adult. And usually it's all play games, and we do this lightning round, and this is one of the questions. It's the title of your book, your life. And I asked if any of the young adults had any questions that they wanted to bring into the lightning round, and one of them said that was their question: what would the last line of your book be? I thought that was so deep. That's so good. It's true, right? It's like we have these stories, but they're not done, you know? And sometimes, it's like I've been in these circles, and and it's these spiritual circles that, reaching for something. A lot of people talk about being fully awakened. And somebody talked tonight, I asked a friend, what should we talk about? Because I didn't write anything today. I didn't even know what I really wanted to talk about, but I wanted to know about liberation, all these things that we want. Or awakening. Not awakening. What did you ask, Amy? How to be enlightened. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm very skeptical of anybody that has an answer to that. I feel like each moment is an awakening, and there's different levels of awakening, and every one could be really hard, more difficult, because awakening is just letting go. And I feel like letting go a lot of our story. And I was talking to a friend today, and they didn't really, I don't know, yeah. It was, I feel like we need to burn it all down. Feel like all the constructs. And what I mean by that, and it's pretty literal, it's pretty big, right? But I feel like this awakening, this liberation, this whatever we're looking for is a deconstructing, decolonizing the mind, and just kind of, letting the shit crumble the ways that we've survived. Like, first, it starts with, like, for me, the way I was raised, It's like, if you think about it, right? It's like, our parents created whatever they had to for us. They did the best they could, I guess, depending. I had a house. I had a place to go. I had food sometimes, kind of thing, And then, they were handing down whatever they thought I needed for me to survive in this world, whether it was through criticism or, whatever it was. It's pretty dysfunctional when I look back. So in a sense, it's like, let's burn that down. Let's burn down the way that we were raised. And I'm not going to speak for everybody. Some people maybe it was okay. Because when we burn stuff down, when it gets burnt, like we've experienced it, right? We've experienced wildfires around here. It's devastating. It's scary. And that's what y'all are doing. It's scary. It's big. It's like you're letting go of a lot of stuff that maybe you thought was the way, it's the way we survived. Even the way we survived out there, for me, it was like being a part of a certain culture. I survived this being a part of a punk, skater, bro culture, I had to burn that down. But it helped me survive in some sense. Drugs and alcohol, same thing. It helped me survive, and I had to burn that down. And this is where it gets tricky for me. Even like, all these different modalities, how, if we speak to recovery, like these recovery modalities and stuff, it's like this is the answer, this is the answer, this is the path, this is the path. These spiritual modalities, this is the path, this is the answer, this is the answer. And we want that answer, right? But it's not always the answer, it's just pointing to a place. It's pointing to a place that we have within. So can we burn down the constructs of it all and be in our truth? And using this metaphor of burning it down and coming back to the wildfires, it was devastating, it's scary. And I had friends that lost homes, and I live in that community up there. Came really close to my house, a few miles, a couple miles. But then after that wildfire, a month later, I went up into the mountains. And what did I see? Anybody else maybe experience it? Anybody else go into the mountains after those wildfires? Yeah. What'd you see? What's that? Yeah. New sprouts everywhere. There was actually, after one of the first wildfires, there was some wild flowers that started blooming that haven't bloomed for 100 years because they're just covered in debris from the stuff, because that's what forests do to cleanse and renew, So I don't know if this metaphor is sticking, but I feel, for me, not so like literal burn it down, it's like, that's the old punker in me. But in the sense of just letting go of the stories, letting go of, the absolutes of anything. And that's where it gets tricky, because then we got to trust in ourselves. Ooh. Trust in that part of you that is already liberated. That part of you that is fully awakened already. It's right here, But we don't trust it because we're so conditioned. And it's harder for us to trust it because we don't have the means that point us to it as much. We got to seek it out, or we got to learn by mistakes, and be totally desperate enough to try meditation. That was my case. It's like, all right, fuck, anything. What is this shit? God damn it. And it's not our fault. We've been steered away from this truth. It hasn't been, I don't know, I don't want to say everybody, but for me it wasn't, it was always do more, do less, be more, be less. Why you feel this way, you should feel this way. If you feel this way, take this, do that. Yeah? Distract, take. And this practice is teaching us to be with. To be with. And what if we were taught this at a young age? Just to be with. Or just to be curious. What if it wasn't a temper tantrum, it was just us trying to figure out emotions? We didn't know how to express emotions. And what if somebody responded with, oh, looks like you're having a moment. What do you need right now? What is the story? And somebody reflected the story, like, I didn't know what I was feeling. And they go, oh, that's disappointment. That sucks. And validated it. Probably be easier to process rather than go to your room. Or they'll just figure it out. Yeah? Or God knows what, our parents told us when we were younger. So it's this deconstructing everything we thought we knew. And showing up for the truth that is here waiting for us, the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality is, that we're no different. We all experience pain. These bodies experience pain. And the mind creates suffering. Now that's the ultimate reality. And the relative reality is, everybody has a different experience depending on what body we're in, what social dynamic. So we don't want to dismiss that. But the more we can come to this ultimate reality of oneness, of wholeness, of well-being, the more we'll be able to navigate these masks that we wear out there and how we're perceived and how we're not perceived. And I think that's liberation. Not being so entangled in our stories. The Buddhist practice talk about taking refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Use these words, these old esoteric words that, I feel like are misconstrued when we say take refuge, take shelter, take solace in Buddha, not meaning the person. The word Buddha means awakened one, to wake up. The Buddha was a person named Siddhartha Gautama, and he came to this practice, or he founded this practice, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. I do know. But the people of his time are like, this dude's he's hella woke. He's the awakened one, he's the Buddha. But we all have that Buddha nature. It's here. And the only place we can find it is in each moment. It's not out there. We seek. Because that's the way we were conditioned. So burn it down. And we burn it down, and we can see this growth, this new growth that is here. And I feel like that is the Dharma. Taking refuge in Dharma. Dharma sometimes gets referred to as teachings, Buddha's teachings. But Dharma, I think, is pretty universal. This is the nature of things. Animals, insects, bees, for instance, they live true Dharma. Bees are just being. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to charge more for that tonight. But we have these intellectual minds that take us away from that, which is good. These feelings. I don't know. I think every creature probably has feelings, but these meaning-making minds. Which is good, very good. But can we retrain the mind to just maybe tonight, just to be, not have to do? And this is where you will see that growth. Those flowers maybe that have been covered in, debris for hundreds of years, when we burn it down, maybe they'll start blossoming again. This truth that you're born with, think we all were. I think we all were. So, in a sense, it's also just leading ourselves back, guiding ourselves back. And it's going to be mucky. There's still going to be emotions. There's still going to be thoughts. And that's the one thing that I've noticed lately is like the more I've shown up for myself in this new way, that I can see it clearly. I see that ultimate truth. I see the goodness that is me. I see it. And it's like, oh. But then I see all the other shit too. It's not as meshed anymore. Like I didn't even trust it before. Like any little insight, I'm like, yeah, that's some bullshit. But now it's just like so pulled apart. But it's difficult. It's because this conditioned self still kind of gets convoluted because I'm in relationship with this world. Maybe it would be easier if we're monks living up in a cave or something. I've told this story before. I don't think it is really sustainable. There's a story, and I don't know if it's a made-up story, but I like it as an analogy of this disgruntled monk in the monastery. Yeah. Just pissed at everybody in the monastery, and he kept going to the lead teacher. This guy's doing it wrong. And the master monk or whatever goes, well, okay. Why don't you go up in that cave and go meditate, and that could be your place, and just come down when you feel like you can be a part of. And he goes, oh, that. The disgruntled monk goes, hell yeah, I am there. Went up to the cave and started meditating. Meditated for 7 years straight. And then had an insight. It's like, oh, I don't feel any ill will towards anybody. I'm at one. I found this ultimate reality. I know how to do it. I need to go let people know so they can experience this, Very generous of him. So hobbles down the mountain, sees a group of people in the distance, little carnival, kids running around. It's like, oh, there's the spot. People I can share my message with. Gets closer, closer. Kid steps on his foot, and he goes, you what? Oh. Back up to the cave. So here's that relative reality. How do we titrate from coming in here and maybe finding a little peace and ease, bringing it from the seat to the street, And I think it's when we can pull apart this ultimate and relative stuff, when you can really see your goodness and see this truth within us and see the fucking conditioning and see when it's getting cloudy. It's like, oh, it's getting cloudy. And how we see that is when we're caught up in behaviors once again. Maybe it's a way we talk to ourselves. Maybe it's a behavior that we're doing. It's like, oh. For me, I know when it's getting clouded is when I get really agitated. I'm that monk. I get really agitated. When I feel that agitation, it's like, okay, there's something going on. And it's usually some worry, self-doubt that is here. I did something wrong. That's my continuing thread. I said something wrong. I did something wrong. And that may never go away. But the more I show up for it, it gets different. It's not as heavy. And I don't act out like I used to. The agitation doesn't go outward like it used to. I used to break out my blame thrower. It was everybody else's fault. I felt the way I felt. My parents, society, them, this. Some of it validating, but most of it was just made up. Yeah. So let's burn it all down. everything you think you know, to be spiritual, to be enlightened, to be fully awake. Can you let that go tonight? So maybe not burn it all down, just most of it. I don't know. I don't even know if it works, but I said it. And basically, it really of just letting go, of trying. And I think that's the biggest thing with this practice, is teaching us, can we just let go of any trying to get somewhere, to achieve some spiritual goal? Because everything we're trying to achieve and get is right here, if we just pay attention. I feel like every spiritual modality, all the teachers, the liberated ones, quote unquote, are pointing to the same place. Buddha nature. It's right here. I don't know what even, yeah. The kingdom of heaven is within. You know, all of it. It's all right here. So let's take some time and be right here. You down? Yeah. Those are my inspiring words, you all. Anybody have any questions before we get into a meditation? And that's what, and I say it all the time, that's what I love about this practice, is it is a practice. It's your own experience. So we're going to, we'll take a little break, we'll stretch and use the restroom if we need to. When we're doing this practice, I'm going to guide a little bit, but really it's your own experience. In maybe even reflecting on the different modalities that you've, fallen into, different meditation practices, different recovery stuff, whatever it is. And see, kind of reflect on, well, what is really working for you? And what are some of the things you're like, yeah, I don't know if that really resonates with my heart right now. Because what might not resonate with you right now might resonate later, or might resonated with you before, might not resonate with you now. And that is super true. What resonated with me in the past doesn't resonate with me as much, but a lot of it does. And I can trust that because my heart connected with it. And your heart will guide you. You just need to slow down and listen. Yeah? All right. So, I do want to be clear too. That this letting go and modalities of practices of programming stuff, just for now. Because I do think it's super important to be a part of a community, especially recovery communities. I think it's super important, especially in the beginning of recovery, especially in the beginning of getting on a spiritual path. I think it's really important. The intention with this group is I don't like offering just one thing, it's kind of like your own kind of thing. I offer meditation, I offer mindfulness, I offer my experience. And I think this is a good place for us to experiment that kind of stuff, what works for you in a practice. So it's just a playfulness, really. It's not a literal kind of thing. I'm not, telling you that. 'Cause I do feel like, I know from my experience, I truly needed spiritual communities, recovery communities in the beginning of my recovery journey, my spiritual journey. And for me, it was, and I think that's kind of and it's still my practice is, being able to show up in my truth to these spiritual communities, to these recovery communities, because I'm a big follower, and I never trusted myself, so I put a lot of trust. And it's like, okay, you got it. Okay, tell me what to do exactly. And it would be absolute. And I'd get let down a lot, So kind of my own projection here too. I just want to name that, And it's taken me a long time, 14 years of practice and recovery, to find a way that works mostly for me. I can see that it does, And it incorporates everything that I've learned from every spiritual community, recovery community. And it's important. So, yeah, just wanted to be clear on that. Hope that is clear. So let's get into some practice. Feeling your feet, feeling the seat. Finding a way that's comfortable. Or at least sustainable. I like to say, finding a way to sit, to lie down. It's not too rigid, not too soft. And gently turning your awareness inward. And just notice. Sounds, sensations, thoughts, emotions. Opinions, preferences. You could begin by just letting go of these preferences for a moment. And see if you can connect with just your direct experience of right here, right now. The senses. This sensation of touch, the contact that you feel on the floor, the chair. Contact. The air on your skin. The clothes resting on your skin. The way the air is connecting this breath. The breath coming in, going out. Noticing the sounds, taste, the smell. Seeing even with your Eyes closed, there could be shapes and colors. And of course, there's still preferences, there's still opinions, there's still plans and memories. And when you notice the mind is getting caught in these stories, past, future, for right now, see if you can just acknowledge that, let them go and come back to a place in your direct experience and just rest. Or even coming back to for a moment. It's good enough before the next thought takes you away. That's the practice. Establishing an anchor. A returning point. We let go of trying, let go of achieving. And just start listening. Hearing what your heart needs right now. Attention, awareness, validation. And it may be hard to really notice, to be able to hear what the heart has to say with all these different messages coming through. And just be patient. Notice when there's the judging mind, the distracted mind. We don't need to judge the judging. You just notice the mind is distracted right now. Maybe just come back to your home base, your anchor, just for a moment. Checking in with the feet, the seat, or the sounds. And with this awareness, this attention, maybe you'll begin to see that who you want to be or become, you already are. In this moment, liberation is here. Awakening is here. Whatever words you have for it. With your awareness on your anchor, always remembering, just keeping some of your awareness here, if not your full awareness. But maybe, if you'd like, you can begin to reflect on the different spiritual modalities that you've done in your life, recovery communities and programs. And what's worked for you? What's got you to this moment? What may be still working for you? As the breath breathes, the breath breathes in, breathes out, all on its own. The body rests. And also reflecting on some of the things that you question that maybe don't resonate. Can you let that go? And can you trust that all of it led you to right here, right now? Right now, we don't need to search. We don't need to improve, fix, get rid of any part of you. With our eyes closed and awareness inward, maybe tapping into that sense that there's no separation here. It's connection to all things. We don't dismiss the relative reality of navigating this world. But just right now, that maybe there's no judgment, no opinions. There's no separation. The only thing that keeps us separated are our opinions, our preferences, our stories, our conditioning. Just right now, a few moments, can you let that go? Rest in this goodness, this connected. And we see a beautiful sunset. What is seeing that sunset? It's the beauty in you. And shifting your awareness to the goodness you see in things. Nature, a loved one, a guide, a mentor, a dear friend. This goodness that you see is the goodness in you. It's all a reflection. And always remembering the breath, the body is right here. A place to come home to. No effort needed to just be. And as we let the stories, the past, fade, the ways we are conditioned, crumble, maybe burn. What new growth do you see in you? What's something good about you right now that you appreciate? can be a subtle shift. It doesn't have to be big. This goodness, this treasure that is you, maybe just peeking out a little bit. Just wanting your attention. And just bringing it all back to right here, right now. Experience, awareness, the senses, the feet, the seat, the sounds. What's this moment like? Is there a flavor of wanting more or less in the mind? More of something, less of something? And just taking these last few moments just to rest. The goodness that is you. This breath coming in, going out. This part of you that just witnesses experience as it is. Not changing, not fixing, not figuring out. Thank you all. See you next week.